मेरा टीम जो है मेरा 54 पे है ना, और ये दिखा रहा है 55 पॉइंट। इसमें बैंक जो पॉइंट पे 8 लाख के पूछा गया। क्या बोलूं?
Give me the host tag. లింక్ కూడా తెచ్చాను మీరు తెచ్చు. Okay, hi. Very good evening, everyone. So today we are talking about work permit system. One second. Just give me a moment. I'll just share the PPT. How many of you know about there is a recent IS standard has been published by the Bureau of Indian Standards? How many of you know which is about work permit system?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. अभी ये वर्क परमिट के बारे में अभी ब्यूरो ऑफ इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स ने नया स्टैंडर्ड रिलीज किया था.
अच्छा.
किसी को मालूम है? Have you read?
नहीं सर, अभी अपडेट हुआ तो मालूम.
ठीक है, चलो we'll discuss about that.
ओके सर.
In charge area. So connection. Okay, just so I've not shared actually. It's been a while. I'm trying to share this. Okay, meanwhile, anybody is having an idea what is mean by work permit system? Where it is being used? What is the purpose of that?
So the work permit is a permit system where we will give for critical works, like there are several types of work permits, like isolation work permit, height work permit. So wherever the critical works are being done by our team, or it may be the vendor also, so there we will issue a work permit.
Okay. Okay. Any other?
सर वर्क परमिट सर एक रिटर्न डॉक्यूमेंट होता है, उसमें इशूअर और रिसीवर के बीच में जो एक एग्रीमेंट होता है सर, वो भी जो कोई भी काम होता है क्रिटिकल हो चाहे नॉर्मल हो, तो वर्क परमिट तो जो वर्क परमिट का जो टाइप है वो अलग अलग टाइप का वर्क होता है, उसके हिसाब से लिया जाता है। हम सेफ्टी को वो जहाँ पे हम काम करेंगे वो एरिया को वर्क परमिट में इंश्योर करते हैं कि ये एरिया काम करने के लिए मतलब सूटेबल है कि नहीं है। जो भी हजार्ड्स है उसको हमने वहाँ से रिड्यूस किया है या हटा दिए हैं। काम करने के लिए वो बिल्कुल हमारा एनवायरनमेंट बिल्कुल सेफ तरीके से वो प्लेस है। उसको इंश्योर करने के लिए वर्क परमिट का जो इशूअर और रिसीवर के बीच में जो एग्रीमेंट होता है, रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट, सर इसको हम वर्क परमिट कह सकते हैं।
Okay, thank you so much, both of you. So if you see the latest update, I can say this is the work permit system code of practice, which been introduced by the Bureau of Indian Standards, the IS code, which is 17893/2023, which is officially released on June 2023. Okay, this is the PDF document. Apart from this, I have extracted, it is 62-page document. So from this, I have captured a couple of points instead of reading through the complete 62-page. Just give me a minute. For your this thing, I am sharing this PDF. Otherwise, today we'll run through the word format which I have made to understand more better about this standard. Okay. Hope the word format is visible. Can anybody confirm you're able to see the word format with this work permit system code of conduct practice?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So for easy reference, I have converted into Word, and now we'll see the 4 and also the key requirements or the key practices which this specific standard bringing up us to understand about the how a work permit system should function and what is the roles of various designations in your organization, maybe a manager production, maybe an in charge, supervisor or engineer or safety officer. They have clearly defined the role of a specific designation in the work permit system. Previously, what happens? A work permit system will be there. They are the contractor or a specific area owner. They used to fill the permit and they will put on safety officer head, stating that you are going to be responsible for this activity. Something has happened, they will catch the safety person. Now the system has been completely changed. Now the ultimate responsibility of any work which is happening in their respective area, it is belongs to the area owner. Okay, now we'll see more. A work permit means a certified procedure for allowing certain work to be carried out in a fixed place and also during a given period of time. It is also a procedure authorizing entry to certain facilities. One thing is it is in a certification process, or you're allowing a new people or new set of people who are not aware about your hazards or not aware about your processes or not about your practices, and you are authorizing them to work in a specific area which they have not worked before. And it provides a checklist for a system, a method or risk assessment, warn the residual hazards in the job, and also outline the precautions to be taken while carrying out the job to achieve a stated objectives. So what will happen? It provides a checklist. So checklist of what? The checklist will talks about the hazards or the potential hazards where the team is going to perform an activity, and also it gives the safety measures also, and also the precautions to carry out the job to get the stated objectives. What is the stated objective? So ultimately, end of the activity has to be finished without any accident. And also it provides the responsibility for the person who are accountable for authorizing the work and also ensuring that the workplace is safe, and it establishes safe working conditions for carry out any maintenance, repair, inspection work, and also to serve the official record of those established conditions as requirements agreed upon issuer and also the acceptor for the permit. Here we have to think about these two people, issuer and acceptor. As Ramchan or somebody has mentioned, it is about the agreement between or the conditions between established between or agreed upon from the issuer and the acceptor. Issuer will be the person who is giving permission, acceptor is who is came for the or who came to perform an activity. If you see, the work permit is used to authorize routine, non-routine work. This is an important term we have to remember. So if you go for any interview, or if you're giving any trainings, or if you're giving any presentation to the management, or if somebody asks you why the permit is required, you should be able to use this terminology. It is so important. Routine and non-routine work, or routine or non-routine activities to be carried out. It clearly explains the precautions to be taken care to ensure the safety of the person, installations, and also environment while performing the job. So basically, for all non-routine activities, the work permit will be carried out. Or other way of telling, so the activities which are covered by the procedures, the activities which are covered by the instructions, the activities which are covered by a specific process, those activities are not required to follow a permit. For example, daily sweeping. It is a routine activity. Sometimes the sweeping will happen in zone 0 area or in a highly sensitive areas. There will take a permit. There comes under routine activities also will take a permit. Or same housekeeping which is happening on the roads, we will not take the permit. Or same housekeeping which is happening on the shop floor, we will not take the permit. Or shifting of materials or emptying of bins, or doing some testing of the electricity supply by the electrician, we will not take the permit. Simply changing of a bulb, we will not take the permit. In some conditions, for the changing of bulb also, there are organizations, they will give the permit system. I'm giving a generic example. Wherever the controls are in place, the instructions are in place, the processes are in place, there we will not take any permit system. Wherever the controls are not there, there is a presence of hazards, or the severity is very high, or the consequences may go in a worst case, there we will put up this permit system. Okay. If you see, the standard provides guidance for the preparation of work permit and also work areas whose activities are restrictive in nature, such as cold work, hot work, or radiography. And there is no international standard or on this subject, but during the preparation of the standard, considered assistance has been taken, and also documents, checklist, and performs already in the use of India, and also accepted by the agencies such as Director of Factories and also various state governments. While making these documents, there have been done a thorough this thing, and Director of Factories Act also they have accepted this process. Okay. Now we'll see more. So as per this code of practice, these are the various types of permits they have covered. This standard prescribes the work permit of following areas like cold work permit, hot work permit, confined space or vessel entry, excavation. Don't get confused because it is not highlighted. Then electrical work permit, work at height permits, and radiography. Sometimes There are other different kinds of permits also, line breaking, etc., etc. They used to have multiple categories. It's upon industry best practice. As per this standard, these are the various types of work permits. In general, the work permit is a procedure applicable to all the restricted areas in the plant or unit. It is also that restricted areas. So previously we talked about routine and non-routine. If the routine activity also which is happening in the restricted area, there we have to write a permit because it is restricted, the presence of the hazard, because of it is restricted, maybe security reasons, maybe because of restricted, it is a confidential. So many parameters will be there under restricted. A routine welding, cutting, and similar maintenance fabrication job carried out inside or adjacent to any plant unit workshops or central workshops or demarcated or allocated by the approval of the facility in charge. If you see, however, a work permit may be not applicable to the following. So I missed this. So in case of any activity which is happening, for that the permit is not required. So routine welding or cutting and similar maintenance or fabrication jobs carried out inside or adjacent to any plant unit, workshops and center workshops or the area demarcated or allocated by the approval of the facility in charge. In the sense, if you have a workshop, in and around the workshop, you are doing these activities, but the area is already approved by the in charge, stating that a specific area facility in charge mentioned that in this specific locations, the permit is not required. Then routine sampling of the purpose of the laboratory analysis. If it is in a routine sampling in the sense, any example, anybody? Routine sampling of laboratories.
Sir, I think we can say like that in an industry, like food sampling going for testing in a canteen area. So that would go called to be the routine sampling. One example I'm just sharing it. If you want another, I can.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. So generally what will happen, the routine sampling, I can give you one more example. So if I take it as a chemical industry, every day you used to get the chemical tankers, road tankers from outside. 1 second, guys. Road tankers, what will happen? The chemist will go, he will take the sample and he will analyze. Once the sample is okay, then they'll start the unloading. So those kind of activities, wherever it is happening, there the permit is not required. A canteen for cooking. So here also it is almost like a hard work activity. So they use LPG and all. Torches, furnaces, sparking equipment, etc. located in the designated locations of the laboratory. So in those cases also it is not required. Collection of garbage from specified safe locations in the plant area. If you see here, collection of garbage from specified safe locations in the plant area. Here, the keyword is specified safe locations. So this word, it is catching point. Specified safe locations in the sense you have to identify while you are implementing a work permit system in your premises, which and all safe areas for this kind of activity. It is not about only garbage. It is about maybe some other activities also. You have to clearly define which and all activities fall under my permit system. All cold jobs in office building, including control room building. However, jobs requiring electrical installations, work at height, excavation, etc. in these areas will require a work permit. Cold works, if it is okay. If it is involved by any electrical isolations, then you need a permit. If you are working at height, then you need a permit. Then visual inspection of any by maintenance or any inspection personnel of rotatory or static equipments in the plant. So any inspection which is happening, visual inspections, they are not at all going to touch the any equipment. In those cases also, the permit is not required. Then replacement of bulbs or poles inside the plant areas and the roads requires permit. So this here I mentioned. Any bulbs which are saying for that also permit is not required. Then gardening related manual jobs like grass cutting with an hand cutters or branch trimming, cutting, etc. around the office buildings, control rooms, building area, plant area, non-plant area. However, for the jobs requiring electrical connection like lawn mowers, machinized hacksaw machines, and also work at height like climbing on the tree and also excavation more than 30 centimeters deep will require respective work permits. For this activity, permit not required. Whatever yellow activities, but for the gardening activity, there is a mission which is an electrical supply required. There, the permit requirement comes in. And any routine activity authorized by a facility in charge by a separate notification. So in case, apart from that, any routine activity authorized by the facility in charge by a separate letter stating that the plant head is stating that these areas which are not required any permit, then those areas also we can skip from the permit activity. Okay. These are the permits: cold work, hot work, confined space, excavation, electrical work, work at height, radiography. ఇందులో ఏంటంటే ఏవైతే మనకి యాక్టివిటీలు రొటీన్ గా చేస్తూ ఉంటారో వాటికి మనం పర్మిట్స్ తీసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. చెప్పినట్టుగా రొటీన్ ల్యాబ్ శాంప్లింగ్ కానీ, క్యాంటీన్లో ఫుడ్ ప్రిపరేషన్ కానీ, టార్చ్ కానీ, ఫర్నెస్ స్పార్కింగ్ టూల్స్ ఏమన్నా ల్యాబొరేటరీ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు కానీ, గార్బేజ్ కలెక్షన్ ఏవైనా స్పెసిఫైడ్ సేఫ్ జోన్స్ లో మనం గార్బేజ్ పికప్ కానీ ఏది అదర్ యాక్టివిటీ కానీ, ఏవైనా కోల్డ్ వర్క్స్ అంటే చిన్న చిన్న పనులు, రిపేర్లు, మరమ్మతులు చేస్తున్నప్పుడు బిల్డింగ్ లోపల, దాంతో పాటుగా ఏదైనా ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ఐసోలేషన్ కానీ, లేదంటే సప్లై కావాలన్నా, వేరే ఎక్విప్మెంట్స్ ఉపయోగించడానికి, లేదంటే హైట్లు పనిచేస్తున్నా అప్పుడు మనకు పర్మిట్ కావాలి. లేదు అంటే అవసరం లేదు. ఫ్లోర్ లెవెల్లో మీరు పనిచేస్తున్నారు అంటే అక్కడ అవసరం లేదు. విజువల్ ఇన్స్పెక్షన్, మెయింటెనెన్స్ వాళ్ళు ఏమన్నా విజువల్ ఇన్స్పెక్షన్ చేస్తున్నారు అంటే దానికి కూడాను పర్మిట్ అవసరం లేదు. దాంతో పాటుగా రీప్లేస్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ బల్బ్స్ ఆన్ పోల్స్ ఇన్సైడ్ ద ప్లాంట్ అక్కడ అవసరం లేదు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, రీప్లేస్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ బల్బ్ విచ్ ఇస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ అట్ ఓవర్ హైట్, దెన్ దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ హైట్ వర్క్ పర్మిట్ కమ్స్ ఇన్. దెన్ గార్డెనింగ్, సో చిన్న చిన్న వర్క్స్, గార్డెనింగ్ కానీ లేదంటే చెట్లు కొట్టడం కానీ అలాంటివి మనకి చిన్న చిన్న యాక్టివిటీస్ చేసినప్పుడు మనకు పర్మిట్ అవసరం లేదు. బట్ ఫర్ డూయింగ్ దట్ యాక్టివిటీ, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ ఆర్ యు ఆర్ టేకింగ్ ఎ హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ మిషనరీస్, ఏదైనా ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ సప్లై కనుక అందులో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యింది అంటే అక్కడ మనకి ఈ యొక్క పర్మిట్ అనేది అవసరం ఉంది. దాంతో పాటుగా మీ ప్లాంట్ లో హూ ఇస్ ద అల్టిమేట్ సైనింగ్ అథారిటీ ఆర్ హూ ఇస్ ద అల్టిమేట్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్ ద సేఫ్టీ ఆఫ్ ద పీపుల్, హూ ఇస్ ద డెసిషన్ మేకర్ ఇన్ ప్లాంట్, ఇఫ్ హీ సేస్ ఎనీ స్పెసిఫిక్ యాక్టివిటీస్, ఏవైనా కొన్ని పనులు కొన్ని ఏరియాస్ లో పర్మిట్ అవసరం లేదు అంటే దెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో కన్సిడర్డ్ యాజ్ నాన్ పర్మిట్ జోన్. ఓకే, now we'll see the general procedure for the work permit. So this is about the basics which are not required. Now we'll see the requirements. A procedure for work permit involves the adherence to the specified procedure for the issuance of work permit, compliance of the agreed conditions in the permit duration during the work execution, and the closure of the permit when the job is completed. Here about the permit during work execution and also a closure during the job completion. We have to follow certain process. అంటే పర్మిట్ ఓపెన్ చేసేటప్పుడు కొన్ని ప్రొసీజర్స్ ఫాలో అవ్వాలి, క్లోజ్ చేసేటప్పుడు కూడా కొన్ని నియమాలను మనం పాటించాలి. సో ఇఫ్ యు సీ ద ప్రాసెస్ ఇన్వాల్వ్స్ ఎ డిఫరెంట్ కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దీస్ ఆర్ ద మేజర్ పాయింట్స్. టుడే ఐ విల్ టేక్ బిట్ టైమ్. If you have any questions, you can stop me in between, ask me, because this is it is in a live what you call the practically you have to implement in your place. Being it is in a new standard, most of the industries still they are in their old age practices. We have to change their mindset. We have to say them, Baba, it is your first line supervisor responsibility. It is not safety officer responsibility of any activity which is happening, because safety is everybody's responsibility, not only safety officer responsibility. You can stop me anywhere. I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay. So here the category of people. So category of people in the sense in connection with the permit, such as issuer, acceptor, or executor. Issuer will be the owner or who is issuing a permit. Acceptor or executor is who came for the performing the activity. అంటే ఏంటి, ఎవరైతే పని చేయడానికి వచ్చారో వాళ్ళని మనము యాక్సెప్టర్ లేదా ఎగ్జిక్యూటర్ అంటాము. ఇష్యూర్ వచ్చేసి పర్మిట్ ఇచ్చేవాళ్ళు. దెన్ ఏరియా ఇన్ఛార్జ్, ఏరియా ఆపరేటర్ ఆర్ టెక్నీషియన్, గ్యాస్ టెస్టర్, మెయింటెనెన్స్ టెక్నీషియన్ ఆర్ కాంట్రాక్ట్ సూపర్వైజర్. దీస్ ఆర్ ది కీ యాక్టర్స్ మనం ఒక సినిమా పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ చూస్తే ఇక్కడ మనకి ఈ పర్మిట్ సిస్టమ్ లో ఈ మూవీలో వీళ్ళంతా కూడాను యాక్టర్స్ అనమాట. ఒకళ్ళు ఇష్యూర్ అనేవాడు ఒక యాక్టర్, యాక్సెప్టర్, ఏరియా ఇన్ఛార్జ్, ఏరియా ఆపరేటర్ టెక్నీషియన్, గ్యాస్ టెస్టర్, మెయింటెనెన్స్ టెక్నీషియన్ ఆర్ కాంట్రాక్ట్ సూపర్వైజర్ ఎక్సెట్రా. ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఒక సెట్ ఆఫ్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ మనకి ఈ పర్మిట్ ప్రొసీజర్ లో ఉంటాయి. If you see, the issuer is responsible for and also controls the entire work permit process. See, issuer is the responsible for the controls the entire work permit process. He is going to control, complete the process from generation or writing the permit to the closing of the permit. అంటే స్టార్ట్ చేసి నుంచి ఎండ్ చేసేంత వరకు కూడాను ఇష్యూర్ అనేవాడు రెస్పాన్సిబుల్. ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్?
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, Rajni.
So the thing is that, so issuer or the work permit authorizer, whoever will be there, so they need to undergo few trainings, right, sir?
Your question will be answered while we're proceeding the last. Yeah.
Oh,
That's your
okay.
question also covered in this document, Rajni.
Okay, okay.
It will get
Understood.
clarified. Yeah. Please be.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the issuer is the ultimate responsible person. If the work permit is to be made in a triplicate, so most of the industries nowadays they are having this triplicate format. Or I have seen many of the industries. If you say out of 100, 90% of industries having one copy or single copy or two copies. Maybe 10% of industries having this triplicate format. The first copy is with the acceptors or executors. And a copy and also the acceptor shall display his copy at the job. Acceptor or executor who is executing, who is performing the activity. Either maybe sometimes your internal maintenance people also may be acceptor. Sometimes third party contractor also may be a acceptor. Sometimes third party service provider also a acceptor. For example, if you say environmental side, environmental monitoring people will come. They are going to the acceptor. Sometimes your own maintenance guy is doing the repair of your equipment, acceptor. Sometimes a contractor comes in for the doing some building work or chipping activity or wall building or any other machinery installation. So he is also going to be your acceptor. Sometimes a mission service provider will comes in for the annual service of your machinery. He is going to be your acceptor. Ante physically who is doing the activity, they are going to the acceptor. What their role is? They have to display a copy of their copy in the workplace. It is important. Location to be make area personnel aware of the job. Enduku display cheyali? The people to understand that okay, there is an activity is happening. That's why we have to make them aware by displaying this permit copy in progress, and also it is readily available for the audit. So it is not about only writing a permit in the standard which is asking us to do an audit, permit to be audited, and the issuer retains the second copy for control of the work activities and for the record purpose, and the third copy is with the safety department. See, the safety department involves here. First copy with the acceptor, second copy with the issuer, third copy with the permit receiver. Okay, you can note it down these points because I'm taking the today's class very slowly because it is an important requirement, because it is very important in your day-to-day activities. If it is a fresher, for this is for you it is more than like anything. A request for the work permit comes from either issuer or acceptor. So sometimes it may come from issuer also, sometimes it may come acceptor also, because the contractor may not know about your practices. The issuer also requests you for the permit. The issuer is normally a shift in charge. So this is a point. So who will be the shift in charge? Will be the issuer. Okay. Shift in charge of the operations area, and the acceptor is the person who carries out the work and has responsibility for the execution. As I mentioned, acceptor will be the who is responsible for that activity to complete, and issuer will be the area operations in charge. The in charge maybe the designation may be different in various industries, maybe a manager or engineer, senior engineer or supervisor or GM, PM, whatever it is the designation. It is up to the area owner. I can say simply area owner. Any doubts as of now? Are we clear with the number of permits? I mean, wherever the permits are not required, who is mean by issuer, acceptor, then the copies of permits. Clear?
सर.
Yes, Ram sir. हरिराम बोलिए. हाँ.
मतलब सर एक होता है रिक्वेस्टर होता है, दूसरा इशूअर और तीसरा होता है अप्रूवल.
हाँ, इधर रिक्वेस्टर बोले तो एक्सेप्टर और एग्जीक्यूटर है, उतना ही है.
हाँ
हाँ.
इशूअर हो गया साइड इंचार्ज और अप्रूवल
इशूर हो गया जो एरिया ओनर.
एरिया ओनर. और अप्रूवल है जो PM GM हो गया.
नहीं आगे बढ़ते आपका डाउट भी क्लियर हो जाएगा, थोड़ा बेर करना. ठीक है. Your question will be answered in the coming pages. Okay. Okay. Now here see, before filling up necessary details in the work permit, the issuer and also acceptor jointly makes a risk assessment of the job and also agree on the following conditions. So it is jointly the issuer, acceptor also I can make it clear, acceptor, requester or executor, all designations are same. A specific procedure to be adopted during the execution of the job, precautions required before the actual job is carried out, a special needs like PPEs. So in the sense, what procedure to be followed? So they will do a risk assessment or JSA, job safety analysis, or whatever it is. Then they will identify the procedure, matlab tarika, ante ela pan cheyali. What is the way of doing this activity, and precautions required before the actual job is carried out. So if you in doing risk assessment jointly, if they found any hazards, so they will implement the precautions. Okay, काम start करने से पहले जो क्या precautions लेना चाहिए, then that also they will see. And special need like personal protective equipment in case of any special requirements, the PP is required for that performing activity, that also they will consider. If the work is to be continued beyond the specified hours, the further continuation of the work or renewal of the work for the next day is allowed based on the approval of specific authorities and also type of work. In case of any extension, so हमारे जो permit system होता है 9 से 6 बजे तक, 9 to 6. After 6, if you want to do any activity, so we will have a specific set of approvals. If it is in a hot work, the plant head has to be signed, or if it is in a cold work, or area one has to be signed. If it is in a height work, plant head has to be signed. So it depends on the type of work. Based on the specific authorities, we have to get it signed. The work can be stopped at any moment of the time if the work conditions are not conducive, or if the work condition deviates from the requirements of the work permit. So it is clear that at any point of time it can be stopped if the agreed conditions are not followed, the permit conditions are not met. The work can be stopped at any time. Plant authorities are required to train the employees in work permit procedures to take up various roles as identified in the procedure. So Rajani, here it is the point. The plant authorities, in the sense, all your issuers, acceptors, area owners or in charges, everybody has to be trained on this procedure. Now we'll see the details of work permit for the different works. If you see a cold work is an activity which is not likely to produce a sufficient heat capable of igniting any flammable gases. It is a generalized definition based on your site activities, based on your operations, based on your manufacturing process. Yourself has to identify what kind of activities comes under cold work as per my manufacturing process, or my nature of working conditions, or my nature of area what I am or where I am working in. It is a general definition. It is simple that it is not going to likely to produce a sufficient heat or capable of igniting any flammable gases. So నేను ఏ పని చేసినా కూడాను నా పని వల్ల ఎటువంటి హీట్ కానీ లేదంటే నిప్పురవ్వలు కానీ జనరేట్ అయ్యి అక్కడ ఏమన్నా ఫ్లేమబుల్ గ్యాస్ ఉంటే దాన్ని మండించే ఇది లేనటువంటి అన్ని పనులను కూడాను నేను కోల్డ్ వర్క్ కింద తీసుకుంటాను. Examples of cold work will be erection, removal of scaffolding, isolation of equipment, painting. Then all painting of equipments or pipelines or building or temperature below 50 degrees, pressure spray painting requires a hot work permit. Pressure spray painting. Whenever they are doing painting under pressure with the pressure guns or any this thing, there they have to take hot work permit. Routine instrument repair, troubleshooting do not involve a process isolation or work on process trips. So it is about the, in case if the isolation is not involved or it is not required for the specific activity for any instrument repair, there also it is not required. Equipment greasing or lubrication, condition monitoring or rotatory equipment, test to be carried out by the maintenance personnel or any other external agency other than the operating personnel. So these all comes under cold work permit. There are many here also. Work on equipment like DCS panel or UPS inverters, and excavation, digging, road cutting, or removing soil, chipping, and also grading into the depth less than 30 centimeters deep, either using mechanical equipment or manual. So excavation, which is they are not going more than 30 centimeters deep or 1 feet. Till the time it will be under cold work permit. If it is more than 30 centimeters, then it will fall under excavation permit. Working at height, any work or at or above 1.8 meters above the ground level where a permanent platform or a guardrail is not provided. Then hydrojetting, online sealing, sandblasting, use of portable electric tools and also appliances in area, use of vacuum cleaners, and also all inspections and also test works. All this will be covered under cold work activity. Maybe some of them are not relevant to your operations. Some of them are relevant. Based on your operations, you have to decide which are all activities fall under cold work. Then hot work is any type of work which produces heat, spark, or capable of igniting any flammable or combustible materials. You can see here they're talking about only in cold flammable gases, but in hot work they're talking about flammable and combustible materials. The flammable may be gases or flammable liquids. Everything will come in. Here they have given annexure B for as a format for the hot work. In annexure A, it is for the format for the cold work. So hot work, everybody knows: welding, grinding, buffing, shouldering, brazing, hacksaw cutting, or equipment line, vessel of hydrocarbon services, any equipment line or vessel which is containing any explosive or corrosive or toxic materials, and removing from services by the cleaning or repairing and maintenance, and use of non-flame-proof electrical equipments like cameras or mobile phones or non-intrinsically safe radio passages, etc. Okay, all this will be comes under hard work permit. So if you see here, some of these are not falling under hard work permits as per the definition. A work involving radioactive sources like isolation or restoration of radioactive sources, including the use of X-ray or any radiography, and work bent of adjust or any uninsulated electrical power cable, for example LT or HT, within the 3 meters or radial distances. Okay. Now we'll see confined space or vessel entry permit. This is also one of the key area where the people have to focus on more for the identification of all your confined spaces. So there also we have to mark. So whenever the people are entering, there is